New York. I love this place, and living here for nearly 2 decades has allowed me to experience many things, some surpassing my wildest dreams. And those experiences have not only inspired me to explore beyond the boroughs, they've also inspired me to explore the world. Hi, my name's Allyshia, and I'm on a quest to show you a different side of New York State and even some international locales beyond. So come on and get away with me, even if it's just for a day. Hey y'all, on this episode of Getaway for a Day with Allyshia Renee, I traveled to the Finger Lakes region, specifically Auburn, New York, where I had the pleasure of participating in a wonderful press trip sponsored by the Travel Alliance Partnership. Whilst there, I learned about the origins of recorded sound, the various art museums in the area, and most important to me, learning about Harriet Tubman's life in New York. Now, how many of y'all knew that her real name was Araminta? Of course, I couldn't fit in everything I learned in Auburn, but I do hope you like what I put together from this tour. Y'all take care and enjoy!
I won't keep you out in the rain too long, but if you look across the field, you'll see a brick house. See a brick house with a barn behind it. That's the 7 acres of land she purchased with the help of William Seward. The brick house that's on the property now is not the original house. The original house was a wood-framed house. There was a fire there in the 1880s. Well, in 1880 actually. In 1880, the house burned to the ground, but her second husband, nephews, and other masons helped build the brick house on the same foundation where the wood-framed house once stood. That house is not open for tours right now. It is in the process of being restored. But if you want to go over to it, you're welcome to do so. Go down this path here, go across that faded path there. It has gravel under it. It's probably the most secure way to go. But when you do go look in it, all you're going to see is plaster and laugh, because it is in the process of being restored. The last family to live in Harriet's house before they started doing restorations was me and my family. It was not the best living conditions by no spark of the imagination, but it was an honor to live in Harriet's house for a while. A friend of mine and myself, we were able to raise monies through state and federal grants, totaling about $1.7 million. I thought I had raised enough, only to find out after we got the barn totally completed. You can drive a Mack truck in it, it doesn't shake. We started working on the house, got a number of things done on the house, but at some point we found out that the people who purchased this property from Harriet's relatives in 1914 at some point had a school bus service and a delivery service. So at some point they put 2 large gas tanks in the ground, did not service those tanks over the years. Gas leached out into the field, took about 40 plus dump trucks of dirt that had to be replaced and removed. Along with remediation and testing and all the other requirements that the government has, it sort of sucked up all the extra money we thought we would have. So if you know somebody who's good at grant writing, or somebody just got a few thousand laying around they just don't know what to do with, you can have them contact me. I do have a project for them, all right? Property was deeded to her relatives in 1912. The relatives kept the property for 2 years. And then because of financial reasons, they sold the property to a white family who then used it as a residence for their parents. When the mother of that family died, they gave the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church the opportunity to buy it back because they knew that Harriet had already deeded this 25 acres to the church. So as I said, the church still owns all of Harriet's 32 acres of land. In order for the National Park Service to create a park, they had to own something. So we sold them the church that Harriet Tubman attended and the parsonage associated with that church. And once they restored that, that's where they will house their staff and rangers. The house behind me at 1908, as I mentioned, was turned into the Harriet Tubman Home for the Aged, and it was used that way until the early 30s. They say anywhere from 6 to 14 people may have lived in this house at any one point. There were 4 small bedrooms upstairs across the back, 2 large parlor rooms, which we believe were turned into sleeping quarters because people didn't need as much stuff back then as we do. And it was used that way until it was destroyed in the early 30s whenever they started stripping the wood and capped things off of it. We are going to be going into the house. There's some things you need to know when you go in the house. Picture taking is not allowed in the house. Want to know why? My administrator told me to tell you don't take pictures in the house. So I like my job, so don't take pictures in the house. Also, don't handle items that you see around. I'm the only staff. I'd have to disinfect anything you grabbed and touched. And also, if you see doors that are closed, let them stay closed, all right? You open them doors, something may jump out on you, so don't open the doors. And for anyone who would like to make donations or additional donations, there's a donation box on the steps. Anything you do is highly appreciated.
I'm Maria Wellich. I am a marketing director here at the Schweinfurth Art Center in Auburn. The Art Center has been here since 1981. It's a bequeath from a person who grew up in Auburn, Julius Schweinfurth, who became a famous architect in Boston, but he did some amazing buildings here. And he loved Auburn so much that he gave money to build this center that we put in his name. We have currently 3 exhibits. This piece here is one of Kevin Carr's pieces. He is a self-identified queer person, and a lot of his work talks about being queer and just the love and the journey he has had in his life, coming out to his friends, family, and just the love he has received, which is great. Since it's Pride Month, we are really enjoying having his work here. Now, he is an emerging artist in the Emerging Artist Project, and that is a project from the Schweinfurth and the Cayuga Museum of History and Art next door. So his work appears in both places simultaneously. We have the color, next door they have black and white. We also have an exhibit by renowned quilter Nancy Crow, and her work is amazing. She does a lot of work. It uses geometric patterns, but it's all about the figure ground tension. The figure being the foreground of the work and the background being the ground. And it's just bright colors, but she works hard to come up with what she calls sequences, riffs, and drawings. She believes that every time she takes her cutter and cuts through material, she is drawing, and her pieces of art really show that. We also have an exhibit by Buffalo-based artist Gary Serbanowitz, and he does work around the unusual, the eerie, what he calls unknown phenomenon, and it's very interesting. You look at one of his architectural models, and it looks normal until you see this huge, larger than life, larger than human size bug looking in the window, trying to get into the window of the bedroom. Yeah, it's weird, but it's so interesting. You have to look hard to find the unusual aspects in his work. We have exhibits all the time. We have 2 regular exhibits every year, annual exhibits. We have Made in New York, which is every spring, and that's all New York State artists. And we have equals art equals quilts. And that is an annual show. Every late October it starts and goes through the beginning of January. And those are the best of the best quilts from around the world. We are known internationally for our fiber art focus. And that's the Schweinfurth.
Entry space of the house that was made just for visitors. This would have been probably the only room you guys would have seen in the whole house, unless you were extremely close to the family or a family member yourself. So that is why it's decorated a bit fancily. It is made to show off the family's wealth and their importance in the community. So in here we have our library. This room actually started off as Allyshia Miller's office, but then as the family grew exponentially, it turned into more of the cozy living room area of the house. So this is where the family would come together. It's where the kids would do their schoolwork. It's where Frances liked to do a lot of her writing. So you can see her laptop, the original laptop, right here on this couch. And it's also where the family would just read out loud to each other. The kids would read to the parents would read to the kids, not only for educational purposes, but also because this was their main form of entertainment.
So this is Margaret, who was a relative of Harriet Tubman and was cared for. Yeah.
All right.
And that's the father.
A cute child.
So I guess Frances died right after the end of the Civil War and would have been close to Harriet Tubman.
Oh, here's the side.
Let me move back. It's so beautiful. Look at this garden. Oh, wow. Could be out here all day. I love these trees. Nice clean air.
Hi, my name is Jeffrey Starks. I am the Director of Development and Outreach for the Cayuga Museum of History and Art here in Auburn. So we're kind of a mixed bag of a museum. We are the County History Museum for the county, Cayuga County, as well as the City History Museum for Auburn. We are also the site of where sound film was invented here at the Case Research Laboratory, as well as a multi-arts performing arts theater. So a little bit of a mixed bag for everything here, but generally going to get a great look at the local history here found within Cayuga County, as well as the wonderful local arts produced here. Welcome to the birthplace of sound film.
Oh, this is right up my alley.
So yeah, in the 1920s, this is where it all happened. So talkies and everything like that, that all was made within this former backyard laboratory.
Just all in here?
Yep, all within this building. Actually, every single part of the process was created in here. They would have glass blowers working here, which is actually what a number of the women who were employed in the laboratory were. There were about 26 employees, and a dozen of those employees were women employed doing different machine work, glass blowing, and everything, especially when they were making technology for World War I.
This is a microphone.
Yep, that's an old microphone.
Oh, wow.
Don't you wish we could, we still had like bases like that?
You can if you want it, I guess.
I think it might be a little expensive now, but I think we should go into a little bit of the design. This is an old amplifier.
Wow.
So you'd have the sound waves through a microphone going through an amplifier being converted into electricity. When it's attached to an old camera, what that light bulb is doing is it's taking those electric pulses and flashing in response to that electricity, and then when it's exposing a film strip, you'll see these little lines on the side, and so when you play it back, you can hear that's the sound. When Case first recorded the word hello, this is just for recording sound. So when he was starting to work on this in December 14th of 1922, Case recorded the word hello onto a film strip and played it back, and there was no scratch, no noise. It was the closest thing anyone had ever heard to that point to perfect, like me talking to you right now.
Oh, wow.
And so he knew it. So his first letter was to his lawyers to make sure that the patent work started. And then his next letter was to DeForest to let him know that the work was started. Case is actually, so all sound film today actually uses a standard that Case came up with called the movie tone standard. So it's a system that eventually becomes known as, was essential for making newsreels. So like before we have news coming through social media and everything, or even before cable news, before a movie feature, you'd have newsreels beforehand where there's little short clips of news events of the day. So movie tone was really essential for making that happen. But the big thing they came up with is perfect synchronized sound film. So the fact that if you've ever watched the worst YouTube videos where the sound and image are off sync, that's what people thought sound film was like before. Case fixes that because he comes up with a standard. He figured out that 24 frames of film is what it takes to perfectly synchronize sound to film. And that is the standard all sound media uses today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is so informative. Got my own little personal tour.
So last year was the 100th anniversary.
Wow. This is so cool.
I'm Jessica Bose. I'm the Cultural Resource Specialist for Harriet Tubman and Women's Rights National Historical Parks.
And I am Chanda Powell. I am an interpretive park ranger at Harriet Tubman National Historical Park.
One of my responsibilities is to ensure the preservation and longevity of the sites in the national parks. And that includes the Thompson A&E Zion Church and Parsonage that are part of the Harriet Tubman National Historical Park. The Thompson AME Zion Church was built in 1891 and is notably the location of Harriet Tubman's funeral. And so the building is currently being restored to its appearance in 1913.
It tells the history of not only Harriet Tubman, but also the free Black community here in Auburn that started during the era of slavery, where you had freedom seekers escaping from the South, finding refuge here and starting a community and buying land. And the beginning of the church started off in a black home here in Auburn, and then over time it became the church where they raised money to build this church. And Harriet Tubman pledged to put down $500 down for the church, and this is also where her funeral is as well. And this park plans to open in the fall of 2023, where interpretive programs will be held outside as well as inside of the building to tell more of the story of the African American community here in Auburn, as well as Harriet Tubman's commitment to the equality here of African Americans as well.
So all of this, the woodworking here, the wainscot, the trim, is all original. Had several layers of paint and varnish over the top of it. That's all been stripped down to as close to raw wood to be refinished. The walls were all like a bluish green, kind of aqua-y color, similar to what you see out in the vestibule. We went with the pink or salmon based on multiple samplings and gatherings. And then you can see up in that corner, there's a bit of what was the original, like right up over here. The original stencil,
white box.
and then what we've installed to match moving forward.
At Fort Hill Cemetery in Auburn, New York, and I'm about to go see the burial spot of Harriet Tubman, go see her grave. So wow, Harriet Tubman. So this is where her brother's buried. And it looks as if people have come and left little trinkets. I think that's really sweet when you think about it. Huh. Thank you, Miss Tubman. Hey guys, so I'm here at Cayuga County Tourism's office, and I'm with the lovely Karen Cole. Guys, this woman, look at the camera, Karen. She's so sweet. Back in 2021, I sent a random email to info@fingerlakestourism.com. Next thing I know, I'm on the phone with 4 people from the different counties here, and Karen was instrumental in helping me bring Court to Cassandra Francis to the airwaves. I just want to thank you again. You were just such a kind person. We enjoyed it, and I hope you guys watch the show and enjoy what we brought to you from the Finger Lakes region and visit. And Karen said she had something for me today.
I do. You know, sometimes it's just a kindred spirit thing going on. Ever since you reached out, you just had a personality, a happiness, a genuineness to you. It's like, oh, I want to work with her. She sounds great. So yeah, it was a pleasure hosting you in Kasana. The programs you guys put together were so nice and so fun. The content was just genuine. It was spot on. So we got to talking, and I said, write me a little article, a short little thing about your experience in the winery and send me some photos. So we used it in our magazine. This is our new magazine we put together for Cayuga County Tourism. Not a travel guide, but kind of inspiration of all the fun things to see and do.
Oh, looky. I'm back to my roots. Oh my God, that's so. Actually, I kind of look cute in that one.
You do.
Oh,
I love the photo. I love the setting and showing off the vineyards. I think you did an awesome job.
And I'll tell you guys something. A lot of people don't know. I started off my career as a sports journalist. Oh yeah, I was in the sports industry for a long time. And seeing my name in print again, it brings back good memories. And I will say I was nervous to write this blurb because, as all of you know, I don't drink wine, but I love going to wineries. They have cheese, they have grapes and stuff. So thank you for letting me write about my experience going to a winery from a traveler's perspective.
Yep,
So.
and what I loved about that too is the fact they said I don't drink wine, but I love the history, the agriculture, and the winemakers, and the whole culture behind the wine industry. So I think it's perfect.
And they're so beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Right? So guys, please visit the Finger Lakes region, specifically Cayuga County. Yes, because the Harriet Tubman home is here, the Seawood home is here. It's just a lot of history here. And I think me being from Birmingham, Alabama, it kind of is like, it comes full circle, connecting the history down there with the history up here. So any parting words? I'll let you have the last word.
Come visit us. It's awesome. Year-round, great snowshoeing. Wonder you came in November. It was a great weather for wineries, wasn't it? Yep. So we look forward to you coming to visit.
All right, bye guys.
That's mine.
Every single day